Hello. I've never said that before. Hi, I'm Ashley Adamson. That's how I usually do it, but we're just going with the flow here. This is my book, and we're reading it today. We're doing stage 3, Realizing Denial, on the Transition Roadmap. If you'd like to, you can check out earlier episodes where we go through stage 1 and stage 2. Now we're on stage 3, which is the part where you've realized you're trans. What does that mean? This is kind of like the in-depth inner alchemy personal development book called Trans Kung Fu, Awakening Self-Acceptance. It's all about the inner work for trans people. And I'm going to give you some asides as I read this book to sprinkle in more stuff that I couldn't fit into the book. So, realizing denial. So at this stage, just to give you context, you have gone through the exploration stage after realizing that maybe there's something there. And we just did the meditation last time with looking back at your life and maybe realizing that you wanted to know this answer, that maybe you want to know whether or not you are a woman or that you are a man. And we're going to go through this. Okay, so when you enter or have entered this stage, you have now seen enough to know you are not cis, and this is where climbing the next mountain begins. Never underestimate the power of denial. Denial is a tricky feeling to uncover because it's used by the mind to block out emotions, and so in essence, it feels emotionless. Which means if you try to find it by feeling for it, you probably will not uncover it. Denial creates a void of no feelings. It hides them behind a hidden door. The good news is you have the key. You just have to find the keyhole. So this was me trying to summarize a very complex topic, which is denial. And the best way that I can describe it is if you are in denial, you are not going to know you're in denial because you are in denial. Denial doesn't actually have this emotional feeling to it. And I think that's the greatest misconception of our own perception of what we think denial is. You could say, well, denial, I'm not in denial because I would feel that. I would feel the emotional weight of that denial. But denial, it does not have emotional weight. That's how we hide it from ourselves. We hide that emotional feeling, we suppress that emotional feeling, or we obfuscate. I can't use my lips because I just got lip injections today. We try to obfuscate that from ourselves by creating numbness or creating a void where those feelings could be. So for me, or for you maybe, for me, this was coming to terms with the idea that I could be a woman. The idea of being a woman was an existential threat because it would mean that suddenly I would be dissatisfied with my body, that I would be facing all of this friction with the world, and that life would just be so much harder. I just didn't want to come to terms with that idea. So there was plenty of denial to just kind of keep all of that emotional that like fall of emotional boulders away from me. But you got to feel around. You got to see what's there because there's some part of your subconscious, if you're in denial, that's holding all of this in place, and that takes energy. And if you are exerting energy to deny something, what you're actually doing is you're taking away your presence in the present moment because you're using energy to hold something elsewhere. So you have less operating capacity mentally, you have less emotional awareness, just generally speaking. Your behaviors may not always make sense because you're trying to cope with denial that you're not even capable of realizing is there. And you're probably not as good of a person as you could be because you're wasting all of your emotions and energy to try and hold something back that you don't realize you're holding back. So this is that complicated thing. The good news is you can really get through denial, and maybe we'll touch on that in this chapter. So, in the exploration stage, you may have pursued uncovering your gender, which will inevitably lead to a realization that A, you were in denial, and B, you realize you are trans. Yes, so the answer to kind of answering denial is really trying to explore in territories where you feel like something might be there. For me, that was, hey, I kind of want to wear a dress. I feel good in a dress. And then, oh my God, I want to wear makeup and this feels good. And you may make up all sorts of things like, oh, I'm just trying things out, or I'm just being a cross-dresser or whatever. But oftentimes this can realize to deeper feelings of, oh, wait a second, this feels a lot more right. Maybe I was wrong. And that maybe I was wrong, if you're willing to admit that, can do all of the things to kind of break your egg or to kind of get you past the part of you that has created an emotional vacuum to not acknowledge this. The logical mind can make up all kinds of stories to keep you in denial. Things like, you're just pretending. What if you're wrong? You'll never transition well, or you won't be accepted. All of these really simple sentences pretty much sum up ways that you can think about why there's so much at stake and why it would not be worth to consider anything else but to be in the current position that you're in. These kinds of thoughts keep us in denial because to confront these negative things comes with a lot of baggage. I've kind of said that in 6 different ways. Sorry. However, with enough exploration, you will realize the true you. And when you do, you'll realize these negative thoughts are just what they are, negative thoughts. The moment of realization comes right after you realize you've been in denial. The realization of denial may be a singular moment, but more often it's a series of moments that keeps reoccurring as a theme. This happened for me not only pre-transition, but even while on hormones. I had doubts even when on hormones as I keep having more realizations. Okay, I'm just going to skip that sentence. I just read that wrong. Here's my personal story, so you have an example to kind of like work through. There's me, and this was the day that I learned that I was a woman. So I went out to a festival with my friend, there we are, and everyone was using she, her pronouns on me, and I didn't actually ask for that. I just said that that's what I might like. That's how in denial I was in. I was on hormones, and I was like, yeah, like she, her is kind of cool, like I'm into it, whatever. And I went to that festival, everyone kind of pronounced me correctly, and I went home to my girlfriend, and I was talking to her on the bed, and she asked me, she said, oh, well, people are using she, her pronouns. How did that feel? And then I was like, Because when you ask yourself that question, you have to look within you for the answer. And when she asked me that question, I looked within me. And suddenly the answer was, yes, 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 yes. And that was a terrifying moment because suddenly all of that denial that I had kept up to kind of hold those boulders in place, it came crashing down, and all of the other things, all of the baggage that comes with that, I'm not going to be satisfied with my body, other people are not going to accept me, maybe I won't ever look like a decent woman, maybe I'll never pass, maybe I'll just never find those people that will accept me and love me because now I'm trans and now I'm on the border and blah, blah, blah. All of those things just came tumbling down, and that was what denial had been holding back. It was till someone could kind of ask me the question after I did my exploration to help me realize what I already knew. So I just told that story, so I'll just kind of skip a little bit. So here's your thought meditation for denial. You ready? The best way to uncover your true self and get past denial is to follow your inner compass. If something feels right or it feels off, follow that feeling and see where it takes you. Listen to your intuition. It has a deeper knowing than your conscious mind. What I mean by this is there is a part of you that knows things much deeper than what you cognitively know. Like, it's a root knowing. Like, how do you know that you are trans? How do you even know that you exist? Like, these kinds of questions. Well, you could say I exist because X, Y, and Z, but you're just staying within the mind. You're not actually existing within the feeling of existence. So see if you can find that feeling within you that's just intuitive, that just knows something, and rest with that. See what it has to say. You could even ask what it has to say to you. Your denial hides your true self behind a door of repression. The door itself has no feeling because it is the nature of denial. It is devoid of feeling. So remember, if you're looking for denial, Don't look for a feeling of denial because it will hide that. The way to get around denial is to feel the feeling of yourself that already exists behind that door. The key is not to look for the door, but to look for the self behind the door. What I mean by this, and this is a very kind of Taoist, energy, meditative kind of thing, you have to feel where your true self is. You have to call out to yourself and say, where are you? Can you come closer to me? And can you show me the way to get to you so I can be truly who you are, truly who I am? Close your eyes. Take a moment to focus your attention within. Okay, try this. Close your eyes and focus your attention within, and let's see what happens. Call out to what's on the other side. See what they say. If they could tell you something, what would they say to you? So call out to that future self, that greater version of yourself. Call out, imagine yourself calling out, and see what they say. Feel what they're transmitting to you, and take that moment to listen. Thank you for joining me, and please tell me how the meditation goes. I'll see you in another episode soon. You can get the book down below. Bye.